Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video. I hope you're doing well today. So we're going to be talking about city plots and just how controversial they are at the moment and the ways Sandbox are going about trying to fix them and why I don't think that's going to quite do the job entirely. So just going to the map quickly, looking at the different city plots that are currently owned. Most of these city plots have been owned by the same people for the entirety now of release. Very few city plots have swapped hands through an actual fight. Obviously we do see Exploited, they kind of got theirs through dubious means. Obviously we did hear that story a little while ago, but I mean none of these city plots have actually changed hands really. I'm actually trying to see one now that I recognise that's changed hands and I really can't find one. I mean, look here, Albion Choppers managed to secure themselves a city plot right at the start of the game. Infinite's managed to push in, they're getting a bit of heat from No Life, but all they can really do is hold that farm. They can't push in and take that city plot. And that's a similar story for just all over the place. And so they've got to a point now where city plots are becoming an issue. It really is becoming an issue. They're not able to actually take city plots, and for this, obviously they are looking at this, they know it's an issue. So what they've said about it, the defender bonus will be lowered significantly. Now the defender bonus can realistically only ever go up to about 10%. Give them a tier advantage, that's about it. Anything higher, lower, is just unnecessary. If it's lower, it's kind of pointless being there. If it's higher, then it's just too strong. Home plots will only be attackable on Sundays, i.e. once a week, and the defender points will hence regenerate weekly instead of daily. Don't do this. Please do not do this. As you can see, the first comment below it, really hate the ideas to force these ideas to force players to be online at Sunday every week. Because what happens that one week where your main team can't get on a Sunday and you lose the city plot for that? You lose your city plot because one person couldn't be there on a weekend day. Seems a little bit crazy. If you lose your last defender point, the plot won't switch right away. Instead, there'll be an evacuation period of 5 days. If you drop your plot during the evacuation period, it will flip over to the new owner instantly. So all this means is that people are going to clear off. They're going to clear off their stuff and destroy every building. Realistically, that's all this does. Which kind of pointless. You're just going to give someone an empty plot then. We'll also provide an in-game way to sell home plots between guilds. This is really cool. It allowed for things like scamming not to happen. It's a pretty cool feature. I actually like this one. We might, obviously asterisks there, make home plot fights 10v10 instead of 5v5. So I agree with this. 5v5 fights for a city plot seems a little bit crazy to have all your hopes, all your sort of city, your guild based around a 5v5 fight. We've seen guilds quit because they've lost city plots. Why would you put that on the backs of only 5 people? Realistically, 10v10 doesn't quite fix the issue, but I think it's a little bit bigger. It's going to give a different concept of combat. That would be pretty cool. I think that would make a big change. Just have a look through a couple of the comments. Yeah, people really aren't taking this very well. So I've had a couple of ideas. So the first one is, this was actually suggested to me. I'm not going to take all the credit for this. Obviously, every city plot has a farm next to it. As you can see, city plot farm, so on, so on. Now, someone suggested to me that if you held the farm next to someone's house, next to someone's city plot, that could give some sort of degeneration thing to the defender bonus. If you hold it for, I don't know, if you hold it for a week or hold it for 2 weeks while next to their city plot, you'll have to defend it constantly. You can lose it for 24 hours, but you have to get it on the next day for it to continue degenerating. But you can degenerate the defender bonus to 0%, which gives you an equal fight then, because effectively you've held that farm for so long that they're not going to beat you in fair combat. So that's a potential idea. Would it fix it? I don't really know, but maybe if you can hold someone's farm, you would invest a lot of resources into holding that farm. and then potentially that gives you a way in when the defender bonus gets low enough. Maybe with the changes to substantially lowering the defender bonus as well, that could fix it. We don't really know, but maybe that would do it. Again, 10v10 fighting, I think it's just better. It kind of, I still think a 10v10 kind of multiplies the problem. Whereas before there was 5 people with 15% increased damage or increased stats, there's now 10 people with 15% increased stats. That just multiplies a problem. So I think you have to fix a defender bonus problem before you start adding in 10v10, stuff like that. And another sort of idea I've had is potential purchasable upgrades to defend cities. Encourages a guild effort to defend the city plots. So this has come from something like Dark Age, where Dark Age had like a castle system where you would go and take a castle, you go and hold the castle, and you could buy upgrades, you could build upgrades, like a pot of oil that you could light on fire that you would pour down, that would kind of cut off part of the castle for a little while, just because you've kind of eliminated, they're not going to be able to cross through it. And I don't know, you could do so many things. Turrets, you could do, I don't know, there's so many different things you could do. There's a purchasable thing or a buildable thing, adds another crafting tree in, gives the guild a little bit more to do in terms of like holding a city plot. If your guild doesn't put in the effort, your city's not going to be fortified, and it's going to be harder to, it's going to be easier to take, and obviously lose. Maybe that's something. And another thing is kind of, no one's really considered the idea of taking it away from this 3-cap GVG thing. I mean, we see city flights at the moment are exactly the same as GVGs in terms of it's 3 caps, you go around and cap in. Maybe there needs to be a different game type, like a King of the Hill type thing. Hold this point for like 5 minutes. And maybe even start adding more people in then. Maybe you could do 10v10, you go 5v5 to start off with, and then as you start holding it, if you've got to hold it for 5 minutes, for the first minute you have an extra person, for the second minute you add another person, and eventually it's 5v10 with the 5 people attacking, having to hold a King of the Hill style like area. Maybe, I don't know, there are so many different options that you could do with this. This is supposed to be some of like the top PvP content. This is where we're supposed to see like huge intense fights, because people are going to want to hold these. These are literally guild deciding. If you don't have this, then you'll drop your guilds potentially, and this is realistically it. So in terms of people asking what I think in terms of the city plots, I don't like the way they are at the moment. I wouldn't be attacking a city plot. I'm not interested. It's not something that I'm willing to try and invest the time into taking. Even with a significant gear, mastery, whatever advantage, eventually they either catch up or outscale you anyway. And while you might take one, if someone's held a city plot, they're not going to be losing it now. Like, they should have built up the resources to hold it now. And realistically, I think that's just the case. So guys, tell me your opinions. Tell me what you think about city plots. Do you like the way they are? Do you not? What would you change about them? Have you got any ideas that I haven't had? But yeah, in terms of what's been suggested by Korn here, I think they know there's an issue and they can see there's an issue. However, I don't think they're going the right way about addressing it. So guys, thank you for watching and catch you later.